Hello, I'm Brandon Martini, a commercial pilot and flight instructor.
And I'm Carson Vasquez. I'm a private pilot.
And you're listening to the Aviation Mentors Podcast, sponsored by Stratus Financial.
So buckle up, because the Aviation Mentors are taking off.
Welcome back, everybody, to another awesome and, of course, amazing episode of the Aviation Mentors Podcast. Thanks for joining us today. First off, I want to apologize. We haven't put out an episode in a couple weeks. We have a good reason for it. Carson and I, as well as Mark, our producer, we were all in the Philippines. We were visiting a lot of our Stratus family out there and other staff members. And we had almost 150 people that we flew all the way to Boracay in the Philippines. And we ended up doing so much fun stuff. I think my favorite thing, because I'm still working on getting certified, is the scuba diving, meeting all of our team, meeting Mark for the first time. He hadn't gone on a jet ski before, so we took him jet ski riding. And I splashed him a little too good. And he was smiling like no other. When I splashed Austin on the jet ski, he didn't quite like it as much. But it was all smiles there and just visiting all those people. If any of you want to hear or see kind of some of the stuff that we were doing in the Philippines, check out the Stratus Financial Facebook or LinkedIn. They've all got it. Go on there and check out the video. It's 4.5 minutes long and it's got sound. The only bad part about it is it's got me without a shirt on because we're in the water like 2 or 3 times. So if that's good or bad, I don't know, but go check out the video.
You have to have a couple fans out there.
I guess so. I know Carson's the only one who's gotten somebody to come out and ask for his autograph. I still haven't, but I digress. But yeah, so that was a great time. So we were going to record an episode there with Mark live, and unfortunately, there was just too much going on. I mean, every single day there was stuff going on. Kathleen, my amazing and awesome executive assistant, she lives out in Manila area, and she literally was mine and Anthony's and Todd's tour guide for 5 days. She just knocked it out of the park with the experiences that we got to see, and Austin was culture shocked, to say the least. He's never been in a foreign country before. He's went on a cruise to Mexico and got off the boat for 4 hours. That's about it. So it was a fantastic thing. Carson, you want to kind of talk a little bit about how your experience was there?
Well, we had some trouble getting in, but once we were there, we had an amazing time. We had this room where we were able to see the entire ocean. We got to see monkeys around the resort, which was crazy, just to see all the wildlife and be able to experience that. But having all the team building activities with Stratus and with the team, especially with Mark, we had such a great time. He came back even after everyone else had left. So we got to hang out a little extra. But getting to see everyone in person was a completely different experience than just seeing everyone through a screen. And I think it was probably some of the best bonding that we could have ever had. I think it's like getting able to see my friends that we've had for the last 2 or 3 years, but in person for the first time. So it was a phenomenal experience. And yeah, jet skiing with Brando was pretty fun. He's a little too good at it, though. He's doing circles and all sorts of stuff when we're just trying to make it.
Well, I kind of had an upper hand. On my 17th or 18th birthday, I got jet skis. Very used jet skis, by the way. They were brand new. And I had to pay for half of them. So I used to own jet skis, and I used to take them to the ocean all the time in Long Beach. So I used to go and jump waves and all sorts of stuff. The thing I noticed about riding those jet skis, though, especially in the ocean where it was really windy and there were big waves kind of all over, I noticed that I'm not as young as I once was. And every time I'd go over a jump, my body just did not feel as well. So I don't think I'll be jet skiing much anymore. I know my sister's husband's dad owns a company called Jet Ski to Catalina, and you got a jet ski like 20 miles each way or something. I did that one time, and I swear I'd never do that again either. So long story short is I think Brandon is over his jet ski days. I need to keep on flying the Icon if I want to fly a jet ski, because that's a jet ski with wings, and I can control how hard I hit the ground, which is nice, or the water, so to speak. I don't really want to hit the ground. That would be bad. But yeah, so we just had a blast doing all that stuff. Obviously, for me, I love water stuff, so that's all I've talked about. I'm like, oh, we were in the water and we did the jet ski stuff, and we went scuba diving. That was all my highlights. But really tasting the food and the culture there was just amazing. So I really enjoyed it. So that's our recap on why we have not been around for almost 2 weeks. We were there for, I think I was gone for nearly 2 weeks in another country. I'm happy to be back to the good old USA. And happy to be chatting with you, Carson, virtually again instead of in person. So, but I did get to see Carson at my house the other day. He came by. That was nice. We even had coffee together. Speaking of coffee, gentleman who we talked to about coffee, if you're listening to this podcast, I have it sitting on my desk and I still have not emailed you back, but I'll get back to you, I promise. Or I'm going to send this to Carson today and he's going to get back to you, one of the two.
That's so funny. I was there and I was like, "Hey, Brand, we still have all these empty bags of coffee, and we gotta do something with them."
Coming soon for that for sure. So into what our topic of the day is, we've really been enjoying these Reddit questions, and based on our listening and views on the podcast, it sounds like you all have as well. So we wanted to dive into this, and plus, it's great when we don't have scripts made.
It is great. And Brand, I don't know if you're aware, because you and I don't have tons of time to sit around on social media, but Reddit questions are actually a pretty common thing on TikTok, and like people reading Reddit stories. Everyone loves listening to it, like watching those videos. It's huge. Like everyone loves them.
Really, everyone except for me, because I don't go on TikTok very often.
I know, but we don't have time for that. We're a little bit too busy recording episodes and going to the Philippines and Boracay and stuff. But now we're sitting down, I'll tell you, and everyone's all over it. So it's not surprising to me that we have so many people loving when we go over all of these Reddit questions. But they're a little hard to find. So you guys need to post more Reddit questions, because finding good ones and any that we'd like to respond to, we have to go hunting for them.
Yeah, I get that. Well, let's jump right into to the first question of the day, Carson.
Yeah. So the first one is, what valuable lesson did an instructor teach you that you still remember to this day?
Every time there's a power change, there is a trim change. And I don't know what instructor taught me that, or maybe I came up with it, but I'm pretty sure somebody taught that to me. Every time there's a power change, there is a trim change. Because if you think about it, if you're flying a Cessna 172 and you're flying at 2,600 RPM and you're trimmed out straight and level, if you decrease the power down to 1,500 RPM, what's going to happen to your airplane, Carson?
It's going to sink.
It's going to sink. Okay. Can you still fly that airplane at 1,500 RPM? The answer is maybe. It kind of depends on wind and stuff like that. But let's just say you can, and you have sufficient airspeed at 1,500 RPM, which you may or may not have. Maybe, probably not. But let's just say it's 1,500. You should be able to trim that for 1,500 and you just lose your airspeed, right? You'll just be going slower through the air at a slower airspeed. So that was a big one for me. There was also another one that I remember, and it was actually ingrained in me with my DP, my first DP, Andrea. She told me if I took my hand off the throttle 3 times, I'd fail the check ride. So she wanted my hand on that throttle all the time. She just said it should sit there. You should use your left hand to control the airplane and your right hand with the throttle. Okay, no problem. And then move your right hand to do other things. It always goes back to the throttle. Nowadays, I do things a little bit differently, but she was very strict on that. She told me if my hand goes off that throttle 3 times, I fail a check ride. And she had a little pen and she'd mark my hand. I only got 1 mark. I do know people that got 2 marks, but no one ever got 3 marks, because that would have been a fail on the check ride. I believe that she is now retired from doing check rides, and she flies Kodiaks or some cool airplane for fun. Because I believe she retired from, if I remember right, American Airlines. So she has a great career, and now she's doing fun stuff, which is what we all want to do, right? You want to have a great career in aviation and then go do the fun stuff. And I'm just doing it backwards. I'm just doing all the fun stuff, Carson. I don't know why.
Yeah, just get out of the way before your DPE.
Exactly. I'm going to have to work again. Yeah.
They got to work, yeah.
How about you? Any valuable lessons that someone taught you?
Yeah, so this one is actually one that you taught me, and it's to say gear down on every leg of the pattern, no matter what plane you're flying. So it started when I was doing my private, and I was just student pilot. Brand and I were flying in a fixed gear Cessna 172, and we're on final. He said gear down. I was like, yeah, the gear. Of course, the gear's down. And I thought it was so funny. I picked up on it, and then I started doing it. And, I still haven't forgotten my gear down. Every leg of the flight, I'm like, gear down, gear down, gear down, 3 green, no matter what plane I'm flying. And it started helping a lot once I got my complex and I was flying that Piper Arrow. But even in Cessna 172, it just ingrains in you that part of the GUMPS checklist.
You know who taught me that?
Who taught you that?
Mark DeLulo. Mark's a great guy. He's one of my mentors for the Aviation Mentors. He's got a great FBO called Threshold Aviation in Chino, and his whole family works with him. One of his daughters started a company called Cielo Blue. They sell Technums. So if you're looking for a Technum on the West Coast, you should go see her, by the way. She's an awesome individual, and she's making some moves in this industry. It's pretty neat. But Mark DeLulo, he taught me that. He was like, always say gear down, check it, always. But if you say it, you got to do it. And the thing is, a lot of people get into that repetition stuff and they say it, but they don't do it. You actually have to do it. You can't just say it. So if you are saying gear down, you check gear is down. You 3 green, gear down, checked in the mirror. As soon as you turn base, 3 green, gear down, checked in the mirror. Final, 3 green, gear down, checked in the mirror. And then on short final, 3 green, checked in the mirror. And if something changed,
I'm so glad you have that one on your soundboard. I didn't know he actually put it on. That's great.
oh, I'm so happy I have it too. I've been waiting to use it.
I'm glad I set you up so you can walk right into that one.
So the next question is one that's going to be fun for me to answer at kind of the end of it, but I'll let Carson go first. And what kind of shoes should I wear when I'm flight training?
First off, I'll just tell you what kind of shoes I wear when I'm flying. And I feel like I'm going to catch some flack from this, but I wear rainbow flip-flops. Those are my favorite ones. And usually once I'm actually flying, I just put them in the back seat and I fly barefoot. So I know it's not necessarily the most responsible thing in case of an emergency, but it's really comfortable and able to feel the power of the plane, and it's just fun. But what kind of shoes should you wear? The responsible answer: wear tennis shoes with your shoes laced up real tight. In case of an emergency, you have to hop out of the plane. But really, just whatever you want to wear, just wear it. Whatever's comfortable. That's the last thing you want to focus on is what kind of shoes you have on, and your feet are uncomfortable during a long flight.
Yeah, I would say, by the way, I probably taught Carson that bad habit of flying in sandals.
You taught me it was okay. I don't know if you taught me the bad habit, but I was like, oh, Brandon's doing it and he's still alive, so why not?
I kept telling everybody, do as I say, not as I do. And obviously Carson didn't listen to that advice.
Well, I'm still working for you, so I guess so.
I guess, yeah, he's not dead. But I would say don't wear sandals unless you're flying a seaplane. So every time I fly the Icon, I still wear sandals. I actually got to take my multi-engine seaplane check ride in sandals. I'm looking at the picture right now. My DPE was even in sandals. It was fantastic. So I think I did my single engine seaplane rating in sandals as well with my DPE, which was kind of neat. But outside of that, everybody should wear closed-toe shoes, ones that'll be good if you end up making an emergency landing. So I talked about Mark DeLulo in the last question. I'm going to talk about him again on this. He will probably scream at somebody if he sees you wearing sandals. You will definitely fail a check ride with him if you're wearing sandals, and he has a very good reason for it. One, he knows what can happen out there because he's flown probably tens of thousands of hours. But on the flip side of that, there's a difference. He actually had an emergency landing in the middle of the desert, and he was with his wife. And luckily, they had good shoes on because it was a hot day in the middle of the desert, and he emergency landed the airplane in the middle of the desert. What would you have done on hot ground? And what would have happened if your shoes would have been in the back seat and now they're stuck somewhere you can't get them, and the airplane's on fire? Now you're burning your feet. You're walking on bad things. So go wear shoes unless you're flying a seaplane. I mean, you really should go wear shoes. Even though I didn't wear shoes for many years, that's because I ran hot. Now I lost a bunch of weight and now I run cold, and I'm wearing shoes right now. Actually, I'm staring at them.
Actually barefoot right now. It's funny.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, but there's this next question, and it's not quite as fun, and it's a longer one, so stick around for this one. I'm 2 months into my Part 61 accelerated 7-month program, going all the way through CFI. I want to be an instructor and maybe lead the aviation program at our local schools. I'm feeling really frustrated. I can handle the ground school stuff, no problem. I'm supposed to be flying 4 to 5 days a week, typically. And I'm lucky to get around 2 flights per week. But now the lessons are consistently canceled because of things like a double booked plane, unexpected maintenance, test flying a new plane, gas straw dropped in the tank, instructor interviewing for the airlines, weather. So my actual lessons are pretty sporadic and far between. And I'm feeling like I'm having to relearn stuff, and the handling every lesson, that kind of slows us down. I'm about 12 flight lessons in, 23 in, including the ground lessons, and my instructor's now giving me unsatisfactory marks. So, is it normal to be expected to be able to perform perfect maneuvers and landings when you barely get practice in? Is 12 lessons in the air over 2 months' time expected to be proficient? Is it normal to be an accelerated commercial program and told you're going to fly 5 days a week and maybe get 1 to 2 a week? Brandon, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, Carson, I have one big thing to say to that entire 3 or 4 paragraphs. And the one thing I want to say is, wow, that's a lot. So this might be our last question of the day. First off, some of the things that they talked about when they're referencing dropping the fuel stick in the tank. Well, that stuff happens. It's unfortunate, and it happens. You can't fly the airplane after. Another student screwed it up for you. You or your school, depending on what school you're going to. I know some schools require students to use their own stick. Some schools just have it in the airplane. So if you're using one that's just in the airplane, then the school should really be responsible. They should put one of those little stoppers so it doesn't fall in. They sell them at aircraft spurs pretty cheap. I think they're like $5 or $8 or something. If it's your own, you should encourage all of your friends and family who uses a fuel stick on that airplane to buy that as well and put it on that stick so that doesn't happen. But that part, there's no getting around it. It's just unfortunate. It is what it is. I will say that maintenance events do happen, and you should be happy they're not letting you fly the airplane when a maintenance event happened. If you're flying 50-year-old airplanes, maintenance events are going to happen a little bit more often. But even I've seen brand new Pipers that are in maintenance all the time at a collegiate program that was at Riverside. So I think they got most of their problems figured out on those brand new airplanes several years ago. But it happens. Maintenance issues happen, even on brand new airplanes or 50-year-old airplanes. It doesn't matter. So you can't really do much about that type of stuff. Now, the CFI issues, things like that, that sounds like a program issue with your school. And the fact that you're getting unsatisfactory marks, that's very, if you're not flying enough, then yeah, that's probably it. I do know what school you're going to, because you said accelerated 7-month program. There's only one that has that. So I'm not really going to talk about what they do right or what they do wrong, because I don't have enough insight into that. But what I will say is, if you are not flying as much as you would like, of course, you are going to have unsatisfactory lessons. It's just you're not going to progress as well. I tend to think, at least when you're working on your private, you should fly 2 to 3 times a week, and you should study every day. I used to say study 15 minutes, but if you're doing an accelerated program, you should study 2 to 3 hours every day, and you should really know your material. That way, you are ready for a commercial pilot certificate when you get there, and you're not trying to cram at all at the end. So I don't know why you panicked and nearly broke down because of an incident in the cockpit with your instructor, but if your instructor's yelling at you or something, that's outrageous. You should get a new instructor, and you should definitely talk about that instructor with your chief or with the owner of the school. I know that'd be kind of difficult. And what else? Like I said, that was a lot, Carson. That was a ton.
I know. They just have a bad situation, it sounds like.
It does, yeah.
Bad luck with everything and a bad situation, but...
By the way, I've seen these people at when I owned this flight school. There were people like you at my flight school too. It sucked. You were the person who had all the bad luck, and it's bad. It's horrible that it happened to you. And you can probably talk to 10 other people and they had great experiences. But there's going to be that one person who just had all the bad luck. The maintenance events always happened. The weather was always bad. The instructor was sick all the time, or all these variables, right? Now, you try to mitigate those as much as possible, but there's only so much you can do. There's only so many airplanes. It's just all you can do sometimes. So I would say keep your head up. That's the best way to go about it. Or if you're not getting what you need, then change schools. But it sounds like you just probably are getting some bad luck from the school that you're going to. The next thing you asked is, this didn't make any sense. So is it normal to expect perfect maneuvers and landings when you barely get to practice? Is 12 lessons in the air over 2-month time enough to be expected to be proficient? No, it is not, especially when you're brand new. 12 lessons means absolutely nothing. You should not be proficient after 12 lessons. If you are super good, you might be able to solo after 12 lessons. If you are average, you are probably halfway to solo. If you're below average, you're probably a quarter of the way to solo, or maybe less. So, and over 2 months, that's just too long. You need to fly 2 to 3 times a week to stay proficient. If you were told you're going to fly 5 days a week, check your fine print on the contract, maybe. But my guess is 5 days a week is probably the goal, and probably your program is really set up for 2 to 3 days a week. Honestly, most students can't handle 5 days a week of flying. You are not going to gain very much information in your brain by flying that much. You need a day or two off in between lessons to really take take on that information into your brain and remember it. So I would say that's not. The next thing you put, I'm starting to think I should just quit, invest my time and money into something else. Well, don't be a quitter because quitters suck. Uh, Plus, you took out a loan for this, I'm assuming, because I have a feeling I know what school you went to or you're going to. So I know their program costs quite a bit of money. You're going to be stuck with like 50% of that loan. And depending on what company you got it through, whether it be us or somebody else at Stratus, you're going to be responsible for all of that money and you won't have anything to show for it. So you should not quit because then you're screwed. You spent all this money at the flight school that you're at, and now you have to pay it back to your lender who paid the flight school on your behalf. So don't quit. It's never good to quit. Just continue. You signed up for something, make it happen. Now, I would go talk to that school and find out how you can fix things and how you can have a better experience. Those are all good stuff, but don't quit. Quitters suck. I mean, be a winner, right, Carson?
We're winners. Yeah, that's my new favorite quote from Brandon. Don't be a quitter. Quitters suck. So I'm glad you had a lot of fun with these. It makes me happy. That makes you happy. So
it makes me happy that you're happy, Carson. And it makes me happy that Carson's happy, that our listeners are even more happy. And I don't know why, but I'm losing my voice. I think I was screaming, all we do is win too much at the retreat.
Yeah, we definitely talked the whole retreat, and we're loud. We're like the typical American tourists that took over the whole resort. So
Actually, it gets even funnier, believe it or not. When we were there, I got a note on my bed from the housekeeper that comes to all the rooms, and it said, "We apologize, sir, for any noise that may be a problem for you. We have a large group here doing an event." And I was like, "Oh, that sucks. Who is this group ruining our event?" And we were the large group ruining everybody else's vacation. So we didn't ruin anybody's. We made sure everybody had a great time, and it was a blast. I mean, there was 150 of us literally running around a resort in Boracay. So that was pretty neat.
Yeah, I got that same note on my bed, and I had that same thought. So that's pretty funny. But anyway, I'm glad you guys have a good time listening to these, and we enjoy them. We enjoy them a lot, and being able to just respond to the questions that everyone has. There's no stupid questions, and if there are stupid questions, just only ask it one time. It's not stupid. It's stupid if you ask it more than that, right, Brandon?
Exactly. I mean, well, not necessarily. It's stupid when you don't try to understand it. And ask all the questions. Ask them on Reddit or ask them directly from us. We won't tell you. We won't put you on blast. We won't tell anybody your name. If you have some questions, send them over and I'd be happy to answer some of them. Yeah. Well, thanks so much for joining us today. Really enjoyed this, like I said. If you'd like to reach out to either one of us, you can reach us at our emails, brandon@aviationmentors.com or carson@aviationmentors.com. Also, don't forget to hit follow, like, stream, all the things that help us know that we're being listened to and gives us a reason to keep on recording these things. It's also a huge part of helping this podcast grow, and more importantly, helping grow our aviation community. So please help by liking and sharing, and I'm looking forward to doing the next one.
Thanks, everybody. And as a wrap up for the day, remember, we're here to guide you in your aviation journey. So fly safe and enjoy the ride.
See ya.